The College Planning Edge. Multiply your odds of getting into your dream college and get your hands on thousands of dollars of fat, juicy scholarships. Brought to you by Lockwood College Prep, helping college-bound families get the edge in college admissions, financial aid, scholarships, and test prep.
Okay, welcome to episode 2, season 1 of the College Planning Edge. I am Andy Lockwood from Lockwood College Prep, and this podcast is all about helping kids and parents get into their dream colleges and pay wholesale prices by way of scholarships, financial aid, even if they think they can't qualify, and all sorts of advice about getting in, and resumes and essays, and you name it. This is what this podcast is for. And it goes hand in hand with our Friday morning, 8:30 Eastern, live coaching over on Facebook. If you are interested and if you have a burning question that you want answered, please head over to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Lockwood College Prep. And that is your opportunity to pick our brains live about whatever it is that you're struggling with. Is it choosing a college list? Is it paying for college? Is it you don't know where to start? Is it fighting with your kid about college choices? Is it essays? Is it all the above? Well, it can't be all the above. It's got to be one burning question. And I will answer whatever has been thrown into me that week. And that's Fridays, 8:30 Eastern, facebook.com/Lockwood College Prep. Okay, today I wanted to talk about I guess it's a conversation that I had with a client of mine a couple of days ago, and I want to talk about it generally because I think it applies to a lot of families. So we're going back and forth. His daughter has aspirations of going into nursing, which is a great field because there's very high demand now. Because one of the things I talk about a lot is it's very easy to go to college and learn nothing that employers want. So what I mean by that is, and I'm joking, but it's really kind of sad or scary what's happening out there in terms of the environment, because 80% of kids change majors. 50% of kids who graduated college 2 years ago still don't have a job that requires a college degree. So they're doing stuff like working Starbucks or delivering pizzas for Domino's or whatever. Student debt is, I think, $1.4 trillion at this point, and defaults are on the rise. It is really kind of bleak out there. And if you go to colleges like UConn, University of Connecticut, and major in puppetry, or you go to virtually every school in the country and major in women's studies, I'm not so sure what either of those majors help you get in terms of an outcome. I do a lot of live presentations, and I typically ask people, hey, is there anyone here who is either in human resources or hires people? And I usually get 1 or 2 hands or 3 hands that get raised, and I'll say, okay, let me ask you this: have you ever said these words or heard these following words? Get me the women's studies major. Of course not. So getting back to nursing and my client, the conversation we were having, I thought that was a great field because when you look at things like the Bureau of Labor Statistics, they indicate that field is in a growth mode. So what we were talking about was a couple things. Number one, was she really wired, the daughter, was she really wired to be a nurse? And wiring is sort of a shortcut to describe a whole bunch of characteristics and features and personality traits and all that have to do with what we consider how someone is I guess oriented or suitable for a certain major or career. That's how we help kids pick colleges, by putting them through an assessment first. She seemed to rank really high in a lot of stuff that is inherent with nursing, like caring for others, being able to advocate for patients' health and things like that, wanting to do good, not just make money, but also do something that was valuable, to her community. However, she has historically struggled in the sciences, bio, chem, you name it. And my point was, look, it's great that she wants to go into that field, but maybe there's some other fields that don't involve quite as much rigorous chem and bio and things like that, where she won't feel like she's pounding a square peg into a round hole. So there were other fields like therapy and other types of things that did come up when we did our career and major assessment profile with her. And that's a conversation we're going to have a revisit again this weekend, this time with all three of us, Dad and me and her. But anyway, that was one thought. The second thought was, we're looking at different schools, and the prices at each of these schools really varies. And the dad's comment to me was, well, does it really matter where she goes to school in terms of where she's going to end up out of school? Because everyone I know who's a nurse at such and blah, blah, blah college, they all seem to get jobs. And what I said to him was, I think to some extent you're right. You are going to, most likely, if you go to a decent school, decent nursing school, you're going to walk out of there with a job. Now, the pay that you'll earn the first year may be different, depending on the school and how hard you work. Of course, there's all these inputs that kids control, not just the college reputation. But the question that we are sort of grappling with is, well, is it worth to pay up for a more expensive or prestigious college, and possibly saddle a kid with some debt compared to going to a cheaper school and perhaps not getting as high priced, as high level a salary. And my thoughts were, what? There's so many variables that you can't control. If I had to choose between the two, paying an extra $20,000 a year with the hopes that you're going to get a better job versus paying $20,000 less per year with the understanding that you're going to get a job at a certain minimum salary level, I'm going for option 2 all the time. And this holds, so this was sort of an apples to apples comparison, because nursing is not a unique field, but it's a good field to get into, where there's a lot of job growth. Same thing with computer science, as a matter of fact. Those are two fields that I keep hearing about, reading about, how a lot of kids are getting jobs. But I have this conversation in other contexts frequently. So sometimes I'm talking to kids who got into schools like a state school in their local state where they reside. I'm in New York, so that would be a SUNY. But they also got into Loyola in Maryland, which is a $60-something thousand a year school. And they're like, oh, I just love that school. I want to go there. I think the alumni network is better than SUNY Albany, and the price difference is $26,000 a year versus $60-something thousand per year. And I'll say, well, what are you going to major in? And a lot of times the response is, well, I don't know. So my point here is that I understand paying up for a certain school if you have a reasonable argument, a reasonable certainty that that's going to pay off for you when you graduate. So if my kid were going into business and got into Wharton or a similar prestigious college, I think I might get a third job and sell a kidney or something to help them get through, right? Because I can see the return on investment. But if it's SUNY Albany versus what did I say before? Versus Loyola, no way. Loyola is not Harvard. It's not Wharton. We have a client right now whose daughter is returning to her second year of college at an expensive private school that is not a prestigious school. It's not Loyola, but it's on the same type of tier as Loyola. And she can't afford college, can't afford to pay for her daughter's college. So she and her husband are selling their homes in order to keep her at Syracuse, where she's really happy. Here's the kicker. She hasn't picked a major yet. She has barely a 3.0 GPA. I don't know what it is that they're hoping to get out of Syracuse. Oops, I just said the school. Okay. But I can't see how it's worth it. And I'm not being judgy, but and our client, she is not dumb at all. She's actually very smart. But she's being, I think, kind of railroaded a little bit by her kid. I think she's putting her kid in the driver's seat a little bit too much, which is, with some families, kind of easier said than done advice. Don't let your kids drive the process. This is a family decision, but I personally do not see the value of paying up for a $60-something thousand a year school for a kid who hasn't decided what they want to major in. Personally, that's just me. I will keep my kidney in that case. I'm not going to get a third job or sell an organ. So those are some deep thoughts. I'm wondering what you think. You can certainly, I think there's a way to leave a comment here. If there's not, you can head on over to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Lockwood College Prep, and let us know your thoughts. Let us know if you're having any struggles. Every Friday, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, it's College Coffee Talk. I've kind of morphed that into free coaching. So anyone who wants to pick our brains, I'll be on there for an hour live. That is the opportunity, because I've practically eliminated free consultations. I used to offer a lot of free consultations, but it got a little bit overwhelming with too many people, kind of lining up to pick my brain for a half hour. So now what we've decided to do is transition it over to Facebook so it can be in small groups instead of one-on-one. So that's my closing comment to you. Think about the long game, not the short game. It certainly matters where you go to school, but more so it matters about what you're going to major in and what you're going to get out of school. Thanks for listening to the College Planning Edge. This is Andy Lockwood, and I will speak to you soon. Bye-bye. Hi, this is Andy Lockwood. Don't forget to visit our website, lockwoodcollegeprep.com, for some more free, valuable information on how you can multiply your chances of admission to your dream colleges and qualify for thousands or tens of thousands of dollars of fat, juicy scholarships along the way. Visit lockwoodcollegeprep.com for information on our free upcoming workshops and webinars, and to download a copy of our #1 best-selling book, How to Pay Wholesale for College. That's lockwoodcollegeprep.com. Bye-bye.